Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So you're here today to figure out how to make your dog and your cat best buddies. My dog and cat are definitely best buds now, but did not start out like that when I adopted a 1-year-old cat from the Humane Society and introduced her to my dog that I'd already had for 7 years, and that was 8 years old. But I wanted to share my top tips for creating this bond. Okay, so I'm gonna split the video out into 3 parts. Feel free to fast forward through part 1 and 2 if they aren't applicable to you. So part 1 is going to be how to choose the best cat and or dog for this best friend relationship if you don't already have both parties. Number 2 is going to be the introduction of your cat and your dog. There's a lot of great in-depth videos on this that I will scroll over when I'm chatting about it, but I do want to go through the basics because that introduction piece is going to be so important for a long-term relationship. Number 3 is going to be my top tips and strategies for your dog and cat creating that best friend bond that you're looking for. All right, so number 1, choosing the perfect cat and dog for this relationship. Like I said, you may have both parties, so feel free to skip through this. If you haven't chosen that second or first piece to the puzzle, then you're gonna wanna choose a cat and dog that have somewhat similar personalities, and there are some personalities that you're gonna wanna avoid. So for example, if you have a really high energy dog that loves to play, find a cat that has somewhat balanced energy so that they do have something in common. Also, avoid personalities that are just not going to get along with others. So for example, you wouldn't want a breed of dog that's notoriously known for attacking cats. Some pit bulls, I have a pit bull, but some pit bulls do have this tendency and it's just in their character, or like a really bully animal that might be dangerous to a cat. Also, like a cat, for example, that's really timid and shy towards everyone and everything is never gonna be a best friend to an outgoing dog. So just keep personalities in mind along with age. A really young cat or a really young dog may really irritate an older animal. So I'm not saying it's not possible because I did match a 1-year-old with an 8-year-old, but it's definitely gonna make things a little bit harder because older animals are typically gonna be more set in their ways. Number 2, the introduction. So the introduction is so important, and I'm gonna breeze through the steps of this, but if you want a more in-depth video, I'll scroll those across the top. So the introduction is going to start out with scents. The 2 animals don't even necessarily need to see each other. It can be swapping blankets and toys and putting the dog blanket, for example, in the cat area, or a cat toy, for example, in the dog's crate. So just swapping that scent, getting the animals used to each other without them actually interacting is step 1. Step 2 is going to be get that first visual and scent contact. So for example, you can keep the dog in the crate, but have the crate in the room where the cat is. Or you can have the cat in a locked bathroom, but have the dog be able to just sniff and kind of peek underneath the door. In any situation, you want to make sure you have control of the dog via a muzzle or a leash if they are able to actually touch each other, and you always want to make sure the cat has somewhere elevated or safe to go to so that they can run and hide. You never want to put the cat and dog in a situation where the cat has nowhere to go, or you could end up with an accident on your hand. So once you get that slight visual and smell sense exchanged, the animals are a little bit more comfortable with each other. You can have both animals in the same room, again with the dog completely under control because they're the easier animal to have on a leash, and it's still giving the cat an escape area. You want to keep doing introductions until there's less excitement with the introductions. So for example, if the dog's still super excited pulling on the leash and tugging on you and excited about the cat, you're probably not at the point to let the dog off the leash, and vice versa. If the cat's continuously running away, you're not at the point where they should be left alone together. You want to keep doing these interactions until neither animal is really that excited or overly hyped up about the situation. So once you feel like both animals are pretty used to each other, you can start exploring with the dog off the leash and still leaving an area for the cat to run and hide to. Once the animals are more comfortable with each other, just keep having these interactions, and then you are ready to move to step 3, which is creating that best friend bond. My number 1 tip for getting your dog and cat to bond is strengthening your personal bond with your dog and with your cat separately. That way they have something in common, which is you. You're the common denominator. They want to be around you. So for example, I already had a really strong relationship with my dog. She followed me around, wanted to go everywhere with me, but my cat was brand new, so I didn't have a relationship with my cat. So I spent a lot of time with my cat, petted her, gave her treats, and also gave her a lot of space. And if you want more tips on bonding directly with your cat, I will slide that video that I put together over the top of this video. So create a special bond with both animals so that they both want to be around you. That's going to make the bonding process so much easier because they have that in common. Number 2 is treats. So I would positively reinforce any interaction where the dog and cat were close to each other. So for example, if the dog was laying down in her bed and the cat was in the same room, I would put out treats, or if they're both sitting next to each other, I would put out treats, and that way they got a positive reinforcement that yes, it is good, I get treats when I am with the other one. So they would always get treats, they would always get attention from me, and they would always get this positive reinforcement when they were together or in the same room interacting with each other. So number 3 is to pay attention and be patient with your animals. If you see that the cat is irritating the dog or vice versa, separate the two and do something about it. Cats and dogs will notice if you are responding to them or protecting them if something was to go awry, and they'll respect you for that, and it will help the relationship between the cat and dog. So just like 2 little kids, you do not want an interaction to get to the point where someone's provoked to do something like nip at the other one or scratch the other one. So keep an eye on your cat and dog and be patient. Don't force interactions. Like for example, don't put your cat on top of your dog. That's not going to end well. Be patient with them. They are very smart animals, smarter than you know, and they will respect you for giving them space and also interfering if need be. All right, so my final tip is pick activities that they can do together. So for example, if they're responding well to each other, you can feed them close to each other, again, with you watching and supervising. I would also have them I would promote cuddling by having them either cuddle with me when I was snuggled up on the couch so that they were essentially both cuddling with each other. I would also put their beds together, and oddly enough, they always ended up switching beds, so the dog was in the cat's bed and vice versa, but put their things together and interact with them both together, and that's just gonna promote that playtime and cuddle time between your cat and dog. So I hope these tips were useful. I hope they become best friends. The main goal, and I mean, I just like pictured them being best friends because I had such a close bond with my dog, but the main goal, if you can get the cat and the dog to just interact well and have a harmonious relationship, that is just gonna make it so much easier for you as the pet owner to be able to like safely leave them alone in the house or alone in the same room. So even if they don't become best friends, doing these steps will create a harmonious relationship, which will just alleviate any stresses on you as the owner. So if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. I do a lot of videos on domestic animals, so we will look forward to seeing you on the next one.